songs. I like that already. First thing before I begin, I have two shout-outs. One to the Tier 2 table. And also to Table 8. Table 8, you're the realest table in here. Alright. My name is Anthony Gross, and I'm a groomsman for Darren. Darren's been coming for a very long time. It's an honor to be his groomsman. Seated beside him, of course, is the bride, the newly minted Mrs. Kristal Duff, who I too consider a friend. I'll be talking about both of them today. Let's begin with Darren first, since when it comes to the happy couple, that is where the majority of my experience lies. This man I have known for 20 years, since we were both what could be very generously described as young men. And I will say to you that unlike nearly all of those I have met before or since, the memory of that time I first met Darren, my first impressions of him remain in my mind like a still life painting by an artist with a love for the particularly mundane. Of course, my memory is suspect, as all memories are, and perhaps the intervening years have shaded my recollection some. But I will tell you what it is I think I know. I met him in Mr. Shushevsky's grade 10 computer class. Brian, yeah, he was there too. By which, me being a year his junior, I was only able to attend, by the powers that be allowing me to outright skip what was then the grade 9 prerequisite for computers, a class referred to as typing, which, and mind you, I never took the class, may have involved actual typewriters. But there he was, in a class full of others, their names long vanished from my mind in the churning of time, and a select few more, also in that class, who remain present in my life and his, some of whom remain, who in fact join us today. Darren was a big kid then, by any definition, tall for his age, his thick, almost luxurious brown hair, combed to the side. His face, cherubic in a way, is still more child than man. Strangely, I remember him both with the glasses and without them. And the glasses he did wear were big and square, and popular among people who spent a lot of time staring at computers in the early 90s. And as I would find out later, this was also something Darren did. Something which proved to be solid common ground on which to build an acquaintance. I only relate the way he looked at the time, a big kid and with glasses and asthma and an affinity for the undoubtedly nerdy. This was the age of the command line interface. There was no mouses, no clicking, none of that. Because it represented such a dichotomy to the way he acted, to the presence that he projected. This was a young man ripe for scorn or ridicule by the older, the more athletic, the simply stupid and jealous, and yet he never seemed victim to such. And the reason, I believe, was the way he held himself, the way he communicated, the Tao of Darren, so to speak. Anyone who knows him knows the kind of guy he is, friendly, smart, quick with a quip, a natural conversationalist, and if you're lucky enough to call him friend, the kind of guy who'd break his back for one, and on occasion has. But they also know there's more than just that. Darren possesses an uncanny calmness in the face of challenge, a kind of inborn serenity, not born of pacifism. I don't ever recall him backing down from a fight, but from a seeming sureness in the universe itself, that eventually, when all was said and done, the justice would be done, everything would come out fine, and he would be proven right. It's important for me to point out at this point that he is not always right. In fact, and I'm sure Kristal can attest this, he can in fact be wrong. If you ever have time, try to corner him and ask him about his second vote. No, I relate this to you only to let you know that in my meager memory at least, that man he is now, that way he holds himself, that Tao of Darren, was present even then, under the harsh fluorescence at the computer lab of Neil McNeil, in the bespectacled or not demeanor of a 14-year-old boy. Darren was, in effect, something that I had never seen before. He was just like me, only he was cool. I would like to say that after that time, Darren and I became fast friends, but the truth is, we traveled in different circles. We had some good in-class conversations, maintained a friendly respect. But as he went to parties and socialized and met girls, I spent a lot of time at Blockbuster. I didn't work there or anything, I just liked to hang out. It wasn't until university, first year management, a class neither of us had any real interest in and took solely because we thought it would be an easy elective credit. Spoiler alert, it was. That we once again met up. And this time, somehow, even though the only thing that had changed was the venue, we strangely, the two of us, respectful acquaintances, improbably became friends. We started hanging out, and then our different circles began to overlap, until the darker segment of the Venn diagram became larger and larger. How this happened, I have no idea. The long stretch of personal history is often more hazy than those pinpoint moments, but it did, and I'm thankful for it. Darren is one of my best friends. He is the best kind of friend. The kind you can tell anything to. The kind you can chill with at a moment's notice. The kind you're honored to give an overly long speech for his wedding. Which brings us to Kristal. Let's begin at the beginning. When Darren came back from Cuba, I got a call, or maybe a series of text messages, memory, right? They went basically like this: "Hey, you back from Cuba?" "Yeah." That's my Darren voice. "How was it?" "It was good. I met a girl." "Oh yeah?" "Yeah, she's pretty cool. I think you'll meet her soon." How could I have known from that stirring conversation that he had met the love of his life? I met Kristal not long after that, and though I've only known her a fraction of the time I've known Darren, I feel confident enough to make a few observations about her. Kristal is possessed of a Tao of her own. She is smart and kind and loves animals, and believes that deep down most people are good people. Beyond that, she has a boisterousness to her, an excitability, a kind of adorable brashness. She is not the kind to sit idly and have sarcastic comments made without her involvement. She is not one to leave a zinger hanging in the air. Most of all, she has a quiet confidence, the kind that says that when all is said and done, justice will be done, and everything will come out fine, and she will be proven right. It's going to be an interesting marriage. I believe it will also be a good marriage, a healthy one, and universe willing, a bountiful one. It will be a marriage founded in love and kept strong by the good sense of the two outstanding people bound within it. Marriage is humanity's oldest tradition, bound to a universal fact that the basic building block of human civilization is not the individual, it is the pair, the couple, the roots from which families grow. In this most cynical of times, Kristal and Darren have rejected that cynicism, and in each other they have found those most earnest, least ironic of things. They have found love, and they have found happiness. And later, as we dance the night away to the sound of, depending on whose musical tastes were taken into consideration, either the bounding rhythms of acid jazz or Sebastian the Talking Crab, try to remember that that's why we're here, not just for an awesome party, but for the love of two good people who found each other, and, in the presence of friends and family, decided that they wanted to build their own small piece of human history, to build a new Tao, together. Now if you'd all join me in a toast to the bride and groom.
Oh, nice.
I don't have a drink, I forgot to have a drink. May your days be long and your hardships